Dear students, now I am going to present a lecture on the topic silent features of goods and service tax. Point number 1. GST would be applicable on supply of goods or services as against the present concept of tax on the manufacture or on sale of goods or on provision of services. You already know this one. GST is a destination based consumption tax. Because of that reason, GST would be applicable on supply of goods, not on the manufacture or sale of goods or provision of services. Number 2, destination based consumption tax. GST would be based on the principle of destination based consumption tax as against in the present principle of origin based taxation. I want to say once again, GST would be based on the principle of destination based consumption taxation as against the present principle of origin based taxation. GST would be levied on the basis of the consumption of goods, not on the basis of origin of goods. Next, number 3, GST is a dual structure model. It would be a dual GST with the center and the state simultaneously levying it on a common base. The GST to be levied by the center would be called central GST. In short, it is called as CGST. And that to be levied by the states, including union territories with legislature, would be called state GST. In short, it is called as SGST. Union territories without legislature would levy Union Territory GST. In short, it is called as UTGST. If you analyze this point, you can come to the conclusion that center as well as states simultaneously levying tax on the supply of goods or services. Next, number 4, interstate transactions attract IGST. And integrated GST, in short it is called as IGST, would be levied on interstate supply, including stock transfer of goods or services. This would be collected by the center so that the credit chain is not disrupted. On interstate transaction, tax collected by the central government. Next one, number 5. Imports attract IGST. Import of goods would be treated as interstate supplies and would be subject to IGST in addition to the applicable customs duties. Import of goods into India considered as interstate supplies. Upon that, IGST applicable with customs duty. Next, number 6. Import of services would be treated as interstate supplies, would be subject to IGST. Import of services also treated as interstate supplies. Upon that, IGST applicable. Next, number 7. CGST, SGST or UTGST and IGST would be levied at rates to be mutually agreed upon by the center and the states under the aegis of the GST Council. GST Council will decide the rate of tax applicable on the transaction within the state or outside the state. Next, point number 8. GST would replace the following taxes currently levied and collected by the center. Point A, central excise duty. Point B, duties of excise, medicinal and toilet preparations. Point number C, additional duties of excise, goods of special importance. Point number D, additional duties of excise, textiles and textile products. Point number E, additional duties of customs, commonly known as countervailing duty. Point number F, special additional duty of customs, SAD. Point number G, service tax. Point number H, cesses and surcharges. These were subsumed with GST. Next, point number 9. State taxes that would be subsumed within the GST are: point A, state value added tax. Point B, central sales tax. Point number C, purchase tax. Point number D, luxury tax. Point number E, entry tax, all forms. Point number F, entertainment tax except those levied by the local bodies. Point number G, taxes on advertisements. Point number H, taxes on lotteries, betting and gambling. Point number I, state cesses and surcharges. Next, number 10. Point number 10. GST would apply to all goods and services except alcohol for human consumption. If you analyze the definition of GST, you can come to the conclusion that GST applicable on all goods and services except alcohol for human consumption. Next, number 11. GST on 5 specified petroleum products, namely crude, petrol, diesel, aerated turbine fuel and natural gas, would be applicable from a date to be recommended by the GST Council. GST does not applicable on petroleum products. Next one, number 12. Tobacco and tobacco products would be subject to GST. In addition, the center would continue to levy central excise duty. Tobacco and tobacco products, okay, would be subject to GST, but now these products does not come under the purview of GST. Tobacco products ಇರಬಹುದು, petroleum products ಇರಬಹುದು, ಇವುಗಳ ಮೇಲೆ GST ಅಪ್ಲೈ ಆಗೋದಿಲ್ಲ. ಅಂಡರ್ಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಂಡ್? ಇದರ ಮೇಲೆ ಯಾವ್ದು ಅಪ್ಲೈ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ? ಸೆಂಟ್ರಲ್ ಎಕ್ಸೈಸ್ ಡ್ಯೂಟಿ ಅಪ್ಲೈ ಆಗೋದನ್ನು ನಾವು ಕಾಣ್ತೇವೆ ನಾವು. ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್, ಪಾಯಿಂಟ್ ನಂಬರ್ 13. A common threshold exemption would apply to both CGST and SGST. Taxpayers within an annual turnover of rupees 40 lakh in case of 20/10 lakhs for special category states as specified in Article 279A of the Constitution would be exempt from GST. If the turnover of a trader does not exceed 40 lakh, then it is not necessary to register himself under GST. In case of certain states, if the turnover does not exceed 20 lakhs or 10 lakhs, it is not necessary to register himself in GST. Please see the table given. State with the threshold limit of 10 lakh for both goods and services. In case of Manipur, Mizoram, Nagaland, Tripura, okay, those who resides in Manipur, Mizoram, Nagaland, Tripura, if they want to register himself in GST, their annual turnover must and should exceed rupees 10 lakh. If it does not exceed 10 lakh, it is not necessary to register himself in GST. Next one. States with the threshold limit of 20 lakhs for both goods and services. If a trader supplies both goods and services, if his turnover exceeds 20 lakhs, if he resides in Arunachal Pradesh, Meghalaya, Sikkim, Uttarakhand, Puducherry, Telangana, he must and should register himself in GST. Understand? If the turnover does not exceed rupees 20 lakh, okay, in these states, then it is not necessary to register in GST. Next, states with the threshold limit of rupees 20 lakh for services and rupees 40 lakh for goods. If any trader resides in Jammu and Kashmir, Assam, Himachal Pradesh and all other states, if his annual turnover of services exceeds rupees 20 lakhs, then he must and should register himself under GST. If it does not exceed 20 lakh, then it is not necessary to register himself under GST. In case of supply of goods, if annual turnover exceeds 40 lakh, he must and should register himself under GST. If does not exceed rupees 40 lakh, then it is not necessary to register himself under GST. Next, point B. The threshold limit for availing the composition scheme would be rupees 1.5 crore in states other than the northeast states, Sikkim and Himachal Pradesh, where the threshold limit for availing the composition scheme would be rupees 75 lakh. There are two schemes upon which a trader can register himself under GST. First one, normal scheme. Under normal scheme, if the trader's annual turnover exceeds rupees 40 lakh or 20 lakh or 10 lakh or states, depending upon the states, he can opt normal scheme. Second scheme, that is called as composition levy scheme. Under composition levy scheme, if the trader's turnover does not exceed 1.5 crore, then he can opt composition scheme. He can opt composition scheme. This composition scheme applicable to all states where threshold limit fixed rupees 1.5 crore. In case of northeast states, Sikkim and Himachal Pradesh, where the threshold limit for the composition scheme would be 75 lakhs. ಒಂದು ವೇಳೆ ಆನ್ಯುವಲ್ ಟರ್ನ್ ಓವರ್ ಅನ್ನುವಂಥದ್ದು 1.5 ಕ್ರೋರಿಗಿಂತ ಕಡಿಮೆ ಇದ್ರೆ ಈ ಕಾಂಪೋಸಿಷನ್ ಸ್ಕೀಮ್ ಅನ್ನ ಅಡಾಪ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಿಕೊಳ್ಬಹುದು. ಅದೇ ಈ ನಾರ್ತ್ ಈಸ್ಟರ್ನ್ ಸ್ಟೇಟ್ಸ್ ಇರ್ಬೋದು, ಸಿಕ್ಕಿಂ ಇರ್ಬೋದು, ಹಿಮಾಚಲ್ ಪ್ರದೇಶ್, ಓಕೆ, ಈ ಸ್ಟೇಟಿನಲ್ಲಿರುವಂತಹ ಟ್ರೇಡರ್ಸ್ ಒಂದು ವೇಳೆ ಕಾಂಪೋಸಿಷನ್ ಸ್ಕೀಮ್ ನಲ್ಲಿ ತಮ್ಮ ಹೆಸರನ್ನ ರಿಜಿಸ್ಟ್ರೇಷನ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳುವುದಿದ್ರೆ ಅವರ ಟರ್ನ್ ಓವರ್ ಅನ್ನುವಂಥದ್ದು ಎಷ್ಟಕ್ಕಿಂತ ಕಡಿಮೆ ಇರಬೇಕು? 75 lakhs ಗಿಂತ ಕಡಿಮೆ ಇರಬೇಕು. If annual turnover exceeds 1.5 crore or 75 lakhs, depending upon the state where he resides, understand, where he trades. He must and should opt normal scheme. Okay, he must and should opt normal scheme. Next, point number 14. Registration under GST. Registration under GST is PAN based and a 15-digit alphanumeric is allotted to all registered persons whose annual turnover exceeds ₹40 lakh, called GST identification number. GST identification number. Whose annual turnover exceeds 40 lakh, they will get a registration number, called it as GST identification number. The registration number would look like as follows. First 2 digits of GST number states state or UT Union Territory code. Next 10 digits states permanent account number of the manufacturer, trader or exporters or dealers. Next 13 digit tells us about number of registration within the state. Number of registration within the state means number of business a trader engaged in a particular state. Next, fourteenth digit states about default digit. It is a default digit. Next, last digit, 15th digit, A to Z. It contains one check code to detect errors. It contains one alphabetical character to check code to detect errors. Next, number 15. The list of exempted goods and services would be kept to a minimum and would be harmonized for the center and the states. In case of GST, exemption applicable on supply of goods or services would be kept a minimum. Next, number 16. GST on exports. All exports and supplies to sales and sales units would be 0 rated. GST on export. All exports and supplies to special economy zone and special economy zone units would be 0 rated. No tax levied on export and supply goods to sales and sales unit. Next, point number 17. Input tax credit, ITC. In short, it is called as ITC, set off. Credit of CGST paid on inputs may be used only for paying CGST on the output. The credit of SGST or UTGST paid on inputs may be used only for paying SGST or UTGST. In other words, the two streams of input tax credit, ITC, cannot be cross-utilized except in specified circumstances of interstate supply for payment of IGST. When a trader purchases goods for sale, then he has to pay tax on purchases. That tax is called as input tax. Input tax set off from tax collected at the time of sale of goods. Tax collected at the time of sale of goods called as output tax. In relation to supply within the state or supply outside the state, we can see output tax. In relation to purchase of goods within the state or purchase of goods from outside the state, we can see input tax. All input tax can be set off from output tax depending upon the transaction. Okay, ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಟ್ರಾನ್ಸಾಕ್ಷನ್ ಅನ್ನು ನೋಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಬೇಕಾಗತ್ತೆ. If any goods are supplied within the state, then we can see CGST and SGST levied. If any goods supplied outside the state, then we can see IGST levied. Understand? The credit would be permitted to be utilized in the following manner. Input tax credit, ಅದು CGST ಸಂಬಂಧಪಟ್ಟಿರಬಹುದು, SGST ಸಂಬಂಧಪಟ್ಟಿರಬಹುದು ಅಥವಾ IGST ಸಂಬಂಧಪಟ್ಟಿರಬಹುದು. ಅದನ್ನು ಹೇಗೆ ಸೆಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು? ಔಟ್ಪುಟ್ ಟ್ಯಾಕ್ಸ್ ನಲ್ಲಿ ಔಟ್ಪುಟ್ ಆಫ್ CGST, SGST ಆರ್ IGST. ಓಕೆ, CGST, SGST ಮತ್ತು IGST ಸಂಬಂಧಪಟ್ಟಿರೋ ಔಟ್ಪುಟ್ ಟ್ಯಾಕ್ಸ್ ನಲ್ಲಿ ಅದನ್ನು ಹೇಗೆ ಸೆಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಅನ್ನೋದ್ರ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ತಿಳ್ಕೊಳ್ಬೇಕಾಗತ್ತೆ. The credit would be permitted to be utilized in the following manner. First dot, input tax credit of CGST allowed for payment of IGST and CGST in that order. Out of CGST output tax, first you have to set off input of IGST, input tax of IGST, then input tax of CGST. Next, second point, input tax credit of SGST allowed for payment of IGST and SGST in that order. Out of output tax of SGST, first you have to set off input tax of IGST, then input tax of SGST. Next, third dot, input tax credit of UTGST, Union Territory Goods and Service Tax, okay, allowed for payment of IGST and UTGST in that order. Out of output tax UTGST, first you have to set off input tax of IGST, then input tax of UTGST. Next, fourth dot, input tax credit of IGST allowed for payment of IGST, CGST and SGST or UTGST in that order. Out of output tax of IGST, first you have to set off input tax of IGST. Next, input tax of CGST. Next, input tax of SGST or Union Territory Goods and Service Tax. Input tax credit of CGST cannot be used for payment of SGST or UTGST and vice versa. Very, very important this one. Output tax of CGST cannot be used to set off input tax of SGST, vice versa. Understand? Next, point number 18. Settlement of accounts. Accounts should be settled periodically between the center and the state to ensure that the credit of SGST used for payment of IGST is transferred by the organizing state to the center. Similarly, the IGST used for payment of SGST would be transferred by center to the destination state. Further, the SGST portion of IGST collected on business to consumer supplies would also be transferred by center to the destination state. The transfer of funds would be carried out on the basis of information contained in the returns filed by the taxpayers. If you analyze this, you can come to the conclusion that accounts should be settled periodically between the center and the state to ensure that the credit of SGST used for payment of IGST. Next, number 19, Goods and Service Tax Network. In short, it is called as GSTN. GST is an information technology based law. Infosys Limited is the service provider to the Ministry of Finance, Government of India. All persons who are registered under GST in India are covered by the GST network. So, filing of returns, refund claims, errors and corrections are all done on online basis. GST network helps to electronic filing of returns by different class of persons at different cutoff dates. Next one, number 20. Various modes of payments of tax available to the taxpayers, including internet banking, debit or credit card, NEFT or RTGS. With the help of electronic banking, tax can be paid very easily. Next, number 21. System of self-assessment of the taxes payable by the registered persons. We can see self-assessment of taxes in case of GST, okay, just like income tax, okay, just like income tax, we can see self-assessment of taxes relating to transaction made by trader during a particular period. Next, number 22. Audit of registered persons to be conducted in order to verify compliance with the provisions of Act. We can see audit of registered persons to be conducted in order to verify compliance with the provisions of Act. Next, number 23. Arrears of tax to be recovered using various modes including detaining and sale of goods and immovable property of defaulting taxable persons. If anybody failed to pay tax within a specified period of time, we can see action taken by the commercial department that is retaining and sale of goods, movable and immovable property of defaulting taxable person. Next, number 24. GST appellate tribunal would be constituted by the central government for hearing appeals against the orders passed by the appellate or the revisional authority. States would adopt the provisions relating to tribunal in respect of GST Act. GST appellate tribunal would undertake the cases or any appeals against the order passed by the appellate or revisional authority. Number 25. Advance ruling authority would be constituted by states in order to enable the taxpayers to seek a binding clarity on taxation matters from the department. Center would adopt such authority under CGST Act.